How old were you when you came to America?
17.
19 years old.
I was 18 years old.
And where did you come from?
I came from Lesaca, Navarra. 10 kids in the family.
9 brothers and sisters, was pretty hard to make living,
And I saw them people come, for the United States. I said, well, I'm going to try it.
I signed papers,
They told me when I went to sign the passport in Bilbao, Spain, they told me, you're going to Wyoming.
Here I was, 3 months later. I became sheepherder.
Euskalunen jatorria izkin guzitan ikusten duni txuri berdetako horria hemen zaudeten euskaldun denai pozez ongi etorria pozez ongi etorria.
In a place best known for cowboys and open spaces, the Basques have added a unique aspect to Wyoming's cultural landscape. As early as the beginning of the last century, people of Basque descent have been coming from their homelands along the Spanish-French border to the mountains and plains of Wyoming to work, most often as sheepherders. Their festive costumes and dances seen here at the North American Basque Festival in Buffalo, Wyoming, are in stark contrast to their lonely existence on the range.
We flew Paris to Colorado, Colorado to Sheridan. It was, 7 o'clock at night. I do my name on my chest, We go in the store, I buy all of my clothes, my bed, everything I need for sheepherder. After we go in the mountains.
After over 40 years, Raymond is going back to those mountains in the Bighorn Range where he first herded sheep when coming to the U.S.
What was the first thing you thought when you got to this area in Wyoming?
Well, I was pretty shocked, how big they were in the mountains, They was huge, It was wonderful. I like it.
The first stop is a shipping pen where sheep were loaded onto trucks and shipped down out of the mountains before winter. In the spring, the newborn lambs were docked and branded with paint, then driven into the mountains to graze for the summer. The trip makes a pit stop at the cabin of Basque herder and cattleman Tony Rodriguez. Here, Tony still spends his summers.
This is my bed.
That's your bed.
But when I'm not here, anybody can sleep on it. My paint pay also go there too, and I got everything in there.
What do you mean? Oatmeal?
Meat.
I never eat any oatmeal.
Meat, vegetables,
Tony explains how he cooks the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, only very heated.
Wood in?
Okay.
Wood in there.
Light was the match. Cook something in the oven. This to shut so the heat don't go out. And this is for a roast. If I want to cook a leg of lamb, and then I usually cook in the evening. And I go outside and have a drink.
You got a little wine over
You
there.
have another one. You have another one. And by the time the leg is cooked, I'm in bed.
The cabin has no plumbing, so Tony gets his water from a mountain spring nearby.
I don't know if it's any now or not. See? See?
Do you have to filter the water out of the spring, or you just kind of clean it?
Just clean it.
Just clean it and drink?
See, if you go like that with your hand, the water cleans out right away, see?
Yeah.
He used to run spring water to an old cooler as a makeshift refrigerator.
See?
Yeah.
Tony explains how elk provide evening entertainment.
The cows do. Cows, they go inside and play, and I go over there with my glass of wine and watch them over there for a while. Then the little calves, they come alongside because they're too little to jump yet, and they come and start hauling the mommy. They go, ee, ee, ee. The elk.
What was the hardest part of it?
The hardest part, it wasn't the work. The work is easy work. I mean, it's no work. It's the loneliness. I mean, you by yourself over there, nobody. The ranchers come and see you maybe twice a week, or maybe sometimes once a week.
Yeah.
I never write so many letters. I used to write probably twice a week or 3 times a week a letter home. You know, I had one time my boss told me, Tony, how come you write so many letters? Letters. I said, well, I got nothing else to do.
We leave Tony's cabin and head higher into the Bighorn Range.
They all know each other.
What was the most difficult thing?
Winter time. I don't like it in the winter. It was too cold in the wind. It was terrible. And sometimes come down to 35, 40 below zero, you know, I tell you. I was living in a little cookhouse, you know. And I tell you, it was so cold, you know, sometimes in the morning everything was frost.
In the cookhouse, or sheep wagon, is where many herders lived on the range. Although now adopted as an unofficial symbol of Basques in Wyoming, many people don't fully appreciate just how far from civilization these houses on wheels could be parked.
What was it like in those sheep camps?
Oh, it's kind of hard because you don't have nobody around. But then we had the radio, listen to the radio night.
What would you like to listen to?
Oh, we used to listen sometimes from one station from Mexico because they speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoy their music and stuff like that. And from London they give news and all that stuff in Spanish, and I kind of like it.
Tony describes how he personalized his sheep wagon.
I carved inside the wagon. We had right above the bed. We had a little shelf, and right underneath I wrote my name, the day I come to Buffalo, and the year I come to Buffalo, and the hour. I remember. It's been almost 42 years. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I landed in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Carving and graffiti were common practices of many sheep herders. In addition to shearing pins, tree carvings called arbor glyphs are also common.
If you got a screwdriver, a little thing, a screwdriver, just keep poking the stuff out. But you have to do it real thin. Because if you do it too wide, when the trees start going, it starts spreading. See, if you make it real thin, then you still can see it. The ones that got the it's one of them is 1800 and some over there, and you still can see in the tree.
The last leg of Raymond's pilgrimage leads up a very bumpy road into the timbers, past the site of an old gold mining camp. Here an open shaft can still be seen. Finally, we arrive at Raymond's place. The only thing that marks the site is a spring where Raymond would get his water.
Good, fresh water.
You can see some shiny, look like a gold right here. To look at that.
Yeah, look
The
at
rocks.
yeah.
We asked Raymond what he missed about this lonely little spot.
Here in the summer.
Yeah.
I miss in the summer here, yes. It's beautiful. I love it. You can do fishing and you can do pretty much anything you want. It's nice. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. You get up, it was nice, clear, everything, very peace and quiet and very safe.
Tony stops to get one last drink before we leave and go to the Basque picnic. This site is also high in the mountains, and like Tony's cabin, it also has an outhouse. The Basques seem totally at home cooking lamb and freshly caught trout. They play a traditional card game called Moose and actually speak in Basque. The trek to Raymond's camp is marked by reminders of how life on the range is changing,
Was no gate here before.
from the increasing number of fences to the use of electricity where it's never been before, and even the way llamas now guard flocks alongside traditional sheepdogs. Some are concerned about the fate of the Basque culture as more of them adopt new ways and a new language in a changing landscape.
Yeah, I go back home in 2003. Yeah, I love it too. I go for 3 weeks. Yeah, I stayed 2 weeks. You know what? I was ready to come back.
Really?
Yes.
Does this feel like home now?
Yeah, that's my home. I got my wife, my family, everything here, grandkids, that's my home.
'66, I came citizen in this country. I said, well, if I'm going to live in this country, I will become citizen.
Tony talks about recording the past on an aspen tree.
Every year since I came to this country, I got all the years in that tree, same tree.
Really?
Yes. Right now is a lot of trees over there that fell down, and there was a lot of Basque names in it. You know, a wind came up and I told my kids, if ever something happened to me, just go up there, cut the tree and take it home. But you know what happened after you do that? It died. The bark it peels off, and then that's it. You know, when the tree is alive, that's when you see it. If it died, then it's gone.
What Tony says seems to be metaphoric of the potential fate of Basque culture in the U.S. As Basques in Wyoming adopt a new language and a new culture, the presence of their culture might become as fragile as the aspen carvings they've left behind. As more Basques assimilate, their satellite culture can only remain visible in Wyoming if it's kept alive by the new generations of Basques living thousands of miles from their homeland.
Batez ni oroitzen naiz, da joan zaigu inguruti. Gure bargon ezagunak alde indigu munduti. Arren iduria etzaitu bihotza eta buruti. Guri begira egongo alda